العلم أهمل نظر الله عز وجل في الخلوات فما حاسن ذكر في الجواد. I saw some people who seek knowledge, they learn the deen. However, they stopped being conscious of Allah watching them when they were alone. They thought they could live double lives. I'm not talking about the one who makes a mistake and then makes tawbah. We're talking about someone who, I've got a reputation in public, people will respect me, but behind closed doors I'm going to watch Netflix series. Or I'm going to look at haramoons, going to find out what you do behind closed doors will affect the relationship of the people in the public. قال بعض السلف, some of the righteous predecessors, they would say, إني لأعصي الله وأرى تغيرا في دابتي وامرأتي. I disobey Allah, and then all of a sudden I begin to see a change of attitude in my wife. Now the sister is going to say, whenever there's a problem, oh, it's your fault. You probably sinned. Huh? It works both ways. You go to the local store, what do you guys call it? Corner shop? You guys call it corner shop?
Corner store.
Huh? Convenience store. Learning a lot of Canadian. You go there and there's a lady and the cashier. You're looking for milk and that's the only thing you should be asking her for. Good morning, good afternoon, darling, at this and at that. You say more than you should, you look at more than you should. It was just milk. It's a lot more than that now. Inappropriate conversations that you begin to have, or more than you should even be speaking to her about. When you left the house that day, you and your wife were on the best of terms. But then you come back, as soon as she opens the door, you see the back of her head walking away. And you're like, why are you always moody for? Why are you always behaving like this? Maybe it's a good idea to be self-critical here. Maybe things start going wrong in your relationship because of what? The sin that you have committed. Well, one time I went to arbitrate between a husband and a wife. I know all of the sins that they're doing, because the guy said me this. So I asked the sister, I tried to talk to her. So why do you think you're going through all these problems? She said, because I believe I'm getting closer to Allah. Allahu Akbar. And I can see 101 problems in her relationship. One of them is they're eating haram, cheating the government. You're really getting close to Allah with that. Also, she has an account where she's dressing a certain way on Instagram. Right? And I'm like, what are you doing? Allowing this to take place with your family and telling the brother this? After I spoke, I told her, object. Say whatever you have to say. You want to feed haram to your children? Right? And you're doing all of these things? And you think you're getting closer to Allah? You wonder why now there's so many problems in your relationship? You need to fix yourself. But what happens a lot of time? Each one is blaming the Allah. It's her fault. She's fault. Her fault, his fault. Are you brothers with me? The people around you will begin to look at you a certain way. It will begin to affect you, my brothers and my sisters. Right? If you're a practicing individual, right, a lot of time you start avoiding practicing people. Does it happen? You guys were talking, but then because now he knows he's committing a sin, he starts having a meltdown. The moment he sees a practicing person, or the moment he calls him, he starts getting very anxious. This is again, my brothers, from the effects and the consequences of sins. Right? I'm really summarizing here, guys. There's a lot that can be said. I'm running out of time. And Nabi Saab Clear sound. Huh? I'm going to mention the following. Bismillah ta'ala. We might have to leave. From the consequences of sins, my brothers and my sisters, is that your heart becomes so dark that it begins to project on your face. I don't know about you guys, but I can almost see on someone's face if he's committing zina. Right? And he says this, وَمِنْهَا ظُلْمَةً أو ظُلْمَةٌ يجدها في قلبه حقيقة يحس بها كما يحس بظلمة الليل البهيم إذا الذهب. His heart becomes so dark and he begins to feel it. The same way you feel that when it's dark, everyone can feel that it's dark, he gets to feel it. And then this darkness, my brothers and my sisters, begins to project on his face. His face now begins to darken. Abdullah ibn Abbas, the cousin of the Prophet ﷺ, he said, إِنَّ لِلْحَسَنَةِ ضِيَاءً لِلْوَجْهِ. The good deed, it puts a glow on one's face. And the bad deed, it puts darkness on one's face. Let's be honest here, guys. Put your hand up if you know someone has gone to Umrah. A lot of time when someone goes to Umrah and he comes back, does he look the same? Almost instantly you can see it on his face. Hey. Huh? Not because you're bald. Huh? Of course you take your thing off, I'm talking about the face, you can see a glow on the face. Wallahi, my roommate, I could see it. When I was in Medina, we're in Medina guys, right? Let's go to Makkah and come back, you can see it's different. Even Hassan al-Basri, he was asked, ما بال المتهجدين بالليل من أحسن الناس وجوها في النهار. Why is it that those who pray in the night, they have the nicest of faces in the day? Said, لأنهم خلوا بالرحمن فألبسهم الله من نوره. They were alone with Allah, so Allah clothed them with His nur. You know, sisters, they always ask me, because we speak a lot about makeup, hot topic. So what's the alternative? We have to provide alternative. I tell them, take off your makeup, go pray at night, and then slap Vaseline on. Right? And inshallah ta'ala, you look a lot better. They know they shouldn't be really going outside and beautifying yourself. You should only be beautifying yourself to your husband. And when you're maybe with sisters alone, right? The Messenger said, you can't stop a woman from going to the masjid. You as a husband or a father, if your daughter or your wife says, I want to go to it, you can't stop her. But the Messenger said, when they do leave, they should leave unbeautified. Right? So the point of the matter is, my brothers and sisters, the good deed, it puts a glow on your face. The bad deed darkens your heart. Up until now, begins to project on one's face. Even Ibn Qayyim says, وَالْكَذِبُ لَهُ تَأْثِيرٌ عَظِيمٌ فِي سَوَادِ الْوَجْهِ وَيَكْسُوهُ بُرْقَعًا مِنَ الْمَقْتِ يَرَاهُ كُلُّ صَادِقٍ. The lies, when one lies, it begins to show on his face, blackens it. It's like he ends up wearing a mask that every truthful person can see. Does that make sense? Even one time, this qissa has been attributed to Uthman ibn Affan. Anas ibn Malik one time was outside and he looked at a lady more than he should have. And then he walked into Uthman ibn Affan's house. Uthman ibn Affan looked at him and then put his head down. And then he put his face back up again. He said, مَا بَالُ رِجَالٍ يَدْخُلُونَ عَلَيَّ وَقَدْ زَنَتْ أَعْيُنُهُمْ. How is it that some people, they enter upon me and their eyes have committed zina? To conclude, I'll tell you guys a story that I heard from one of the Kuwaiti mashayikh from Kuwait when he came to visit us. Right? He said, One day he came late for his class, and he was sitting, right? He was sitting. And then another sheikh had already taken the class. So this sheikh who came late, who was meant to be conducting the class, he's sitting. He's like sitting here. Imagine how he was doing the class, but he came late, he walked through and he sat there. Right? And then he says, there was this brother there that I couldn't stop looking at. I was focused on him. I don't even remember what the sheikh was speaking about. Sheikh said, I just kept on looking at that one. After the dars, he grabbed him and said, come. He goes, you're not going to leave me today till you tell me why your face has changed from bad to good. Before, you see this darkness in his face. He looked very different from the rest of his family. He really stood out, and you could see something was wrong. So then he told him, that Sheikh, he would be working on the beach, on the seashore. And every time he saw a sister, he would sell her all of these lies, sell her these dreams. Don't worry, I'm going to marry you, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do it. Remember, in a Muslim country, he would make her all of these false promises. Right? And after he's committed a zina with her, he chewed her like a piece of chewing gum and spat her out. He used to do this all the time. Right? He used to do this all the time. And just to point out, my sisters, this is a piece of advice from your older brother. I care about you, I'm going to bash the brothers. Right? The one who wants you in a halal way is not going to creep through the window. He's going to go straight through the door. If he wants you in a halal way, he's going to go straight through the door. He's not going to creep through the window. Drop you a message, you're going to be my Khadija. Don't worry. Up until he's chewed you like a piece of chewing gum, he's going to spit you out. So be streetwise, my sisters. And I'm saying that in front of all the brothers. They want to chase me out of the building, they can do so. You guys with me? So this is what he was doing to this girl. Wahida, ba'da wahida, ba'da wahida. Up until one day, he met this girl who wasn't even good looking. And he made her all of these false promises. When he was done with her, she said, are you not going to marry me? You said you were going to marry me. Because me marry you and you look like that? That was the hardest. Right? So guess what happened? Allah tested this individual to become infatuated with this girl that's not good looking. He kept on calling her mother. Every time the mother would say, my daughter is saying no. And then again, and then a third time, the girl gets angry with the mother. Mother, if you ask me again, I'm leaving the house. This brother, he fainted. He got rushed into the hospital. Love is dangerous, guys, as I told you guys earlier, infatuation. His sister came and visited him and said, Ala tattaqillah. Do you not fear Allah? You come from a good family and you're behaving like this. He said, if Allah saved me from this sickness, I will make tawbah and I'll never do it again. So then he started taking strides towards Allah. And his face now began to change. And become a lot more different to how it was before. Right? Since, my brothers and my sisters, the last thing that I mentioned, it causes you have what? Dhiq al-sadr, done. Dhiq al-sadr, where one will begin to feel tight-chested. These are what? The consequences of sins. Malik ibn Dinar said, إِذَا رَأَيْتَ قَسَاوَةً فِي قَلْبِكَ. When you begin to feel that your heart is becoming dark and hard, and you begin to feel weak, وَهَنًا فِي بَدْنِكَ وَحِرْمَانًا فِي رِزْقِكَ, and your rizq is becoming very slow coming to you, فَعَلَمْ أَنَّكَ تَكَلَّمْتَ فِي مَا لَا يَعْنِيكَ. Then know you spoke about that which doesn't concern you. He's saying this about something that doesn't concern you that you engaged in, let alone any sin. Ibn al-Jawzi said, إِذَا غَرِقَ الْقَلْبُ فِي الْمُبَاحِ أَضْرَبُ. When the heart now begins to drown in something that is permissible, but you do too much of it becomes dark. فَكَيْفَ بِالْحَرَامِ. And how about the haram? He's talking about, this is saying you're playing football too much, or soccer. Too much. No one says soccer is haram, but you do it too much, it's going to affect your heart. If that's going to happen with something that is permissible, then how about the haram that you do? And we're going to stop there, my brothers and my sisters. May Allah Azza wa Jal honor and bless every single one of you guys. Right? I honestly want to hug and kiss every single one of you guys. The halal way, right? Not any other way. Oh, Wallahi, brothers, I'm going to tell you all I love you for the sake of Allah. Right? If Allah doesn't reunite us in this world, I ask Allah to reunite us in the highest part of the Jannah. I have a flight tomorrow to Montreal at 6 a.m. This is program number 4, and all of these brothers that you see standing up, they're about to collapse. You see the brother with the beard, the big beard, he's really tired. Follow him on Instagram, he's called Bearded Halal Guy. He's got 16,000 followers, man, give him more. He's done a lot, my brothers and my sisters. Right? He's done an amazing job, guys. But anyways, they're very, very tired, guys. Inshallah ta'ala, I'm going to leave you all. Honestly, the inside of my mouth is actually aching. I'm in a lot of pain speaking, guys. This is program number 4. Right? Please, guys, if I can seek permission to leave, and I'll meet you guys, inshallah, in the Jannah. Inshallah. Right? I know a lot of you guys want selfies and... So he has a very good idea. A lot of brothers asked me for selfies. He said he's going to take one selfie from the minbar, and then we're done. Is that right? Inshallah ta'ala. And we can remember Calvary, Islamic Center. Inshallah ta'ala. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. May Allah bless you all. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Brothers, please just take a few steps back, inshallah. Ustaz is going to come and stand with you. So go back a bit.